One of the best upgrades you can possibly do for your Toyota Tacoma front end is the Morimoto XB LED headlights, and they've been a very popular seller for us for quite some time. Morimoto just released an updated version of this headlight, and today I'm going to walk you guys through it, show you the new updates, the new features, and show you how you can install it in your Tacoma at home. Now before I dive right into showing you guys how to get these things installed in your Tacoma, I want to go over some of the new features. These things have still got that insanely bright white DRL along the outside. I'll show you guys that in a second. They've got this sequential turn signal as well, and by connecting two wires on the back, you can make it instant on, instant off if you'd prefer that look. The biggest difference with this particular headlight is in the past, the outer two projectors were your low beam and the inner projector was your high beam. And while that produced a pretty good beam pattern and it was a lot brighter than the factory setup, the new headlights run all three projectors as a low beam and the inner two are the high beam. They are bi LED. What that means for you is when you hit that high beam switch, you're gonna have a lot of light firing forward, and when you're back to low beam, you've got a beautiful amount of crisp, cut off white light. One very unique new feature that the new Morimoto headlights are coming out with is this startup sequence. When you power up the vehicle, the lights scroll on and scroll back off. It's a very unique feature that I haven't seen on any other headlights other than the ones produced by Morimoto. If you're looking for that unique look, you can only get it here. So having said all that, I'm gonna set this headlight off to the side. I'm gonna show you guys how to take this truck apart so that you can do this at home with basic hand tools. Now, I like to start tearing these things apart from the wheel wells. Starting here, there's a 10mm bolt up top, there's a little clip here, there's some hardware underneath the bumper, and by the time we get working on the top, it's easier to pull the bumper away after you release the top hardware. So starting from the wheel liner, go ahead and remove this 10mm bolt here. We've got this plastic clip down below, and you can just get a pry tool underneath it, pop it out like that, pull it away, remove it just like that. And then what you want to do is pry this plastic clip inward, releasing the fender liner from the bumper, just like that. Now working our way along the outside of the bumper, we've got this bolt right here. It's nearest the wheel. Go ahead and remove that. It's just a 10mm. Next, we've got this 10mm bolt. Now under the center of the bumper, we've got this 10mm bolt and this one right here. And finally, we've got this 10mm bolt on the outside corner. Now at this point, we can pop the hood on our Tacoma. The rest of our work is going to be done under the hood. We've got a few bolts across the top here to remove. Now there are two bolts up top here we need to remove. They're both 10mm. Here's the one on the right. Here's the one on the left. And then we've got two plastic clips to remove. There's one up in the corner of each headlight by the grill, right here and right here. And you can pop those out with an automotive pry tool like this one. Very simply, get under the center, pop it up, lift the clip out. Do the same for both sides. At this point, you can pull the grill away from the front of the vehicle. It's going to be clipped in down toward the bumper on the left and right side. Just gently pull it toward you. Should release just fine. Set it off to the side. Now we've got 6 total plastic clips holding this bumper to the front of the truck at this point. We've got one here. We've got 4 across the front. And we've got one up by the headlight on this side as well. Starting with the one by the driver's headlight. It's the same clip style we were just dealing with. Very straightforward. At this point, we can pull the bumper away from the truck, and I'm going to warn you guys, nothing is really holding this bumper on right now, so when you go to do this, start at the corner here, peel it away from the fender, pop it toward you. As you do this, the bumper is going to want to come off right away, so be ready to catch it. In fact, if you've got a helper, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get them. Set the bumper off to the side. Now we're just about done with removing our original headlights. You've got one 10mm bolt right here in the corner. We've got one up top right here, and we've got a third one right here. At this point, the headlight's going to pull right off the vehicle toward you. And we can unplug the factory wiring from the back. Go ahead and unplug your factory wiring. Most of these connectors have a very similar style in how they come off. They've just got a tab right in the center. You can press in on it, remove it just like that. Just work your way across. With the plugs disconnected, you can set your headlight off to the side. Now before we dive right into reinstalling our new XB LED headlight, there's one thing you have to do first. In order to get that super bright white DRL working properly, you're going to need to install a DRL harness. It's got a little fuse tap here. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to plug it into your fuse box. It's super straightforward, and it's got two ends on it. One's shorter than the other. The shorter end goes to your driver's side headlight closest to the fuse box. The longer end runs across the engine bay to your passenger side headlight. Super slick. I'll show you guys how the connections work, and this is what allows you to get that bright DRL working properly. Now your fuse box is located directly behind the battery on the driver's side of the vehicle. It's got 3 tabs on it. You can press in on them and lift it up just like this. We're going to be removing this 10 amp fuse right here. It's an EFI fuse. Consult the instructions right from Morimoto if you have any questions on it. It's kind of out in the open, pretty easy to get to. Remove that factory fuse, and you can plug in your new fuse tap harness right there. Plug it in just like this, so you'll see there's plenty of room for it. It's a nice secure fit, and then you can close the lid right over the wiring. You can route the wiring out the front, gently put the lid back, it'll click into place. That way we don't have any water getting in there. Run your DRL harness right to the opening here for your driver's side headlight, right down by your other harnesses, and at this point we can connect our new XB headlight to our factory wiring. Now at this point we can finally plug in our XB LED headlight. Go ahead and match up your plugs. Turn signal goes to the turn signal plug. Your low and high beam connectors are labeled. Make sure they get plugged into the correct connector. In the instructions, it's actually very clear as to what goes to which connector. Make sure you consult those. Last thing you want to do is make a mistake here and have to take the thing apart and redo it. So you can see everything clicks together pretty nicely here. One thing that I really like about the Morimoto product line is they use really nice, high quality OEM style connectors on their headlights. Everything fits together as if this truck came with these headlights from the factory. Now with everything plugged in, you can go ahead and reinstall your headlight gently. Now with everything resting in place, go ahead and run through the functions real quick. Test everything before you put the whole truck together. If you've got anything plugged in backwards, now's the time to find out. Now at this point, I'm going to button the truck up. We'll head on over to our studio and I'm going to show you guys exactly how much brighter these are compared to the factory headlights. We've got our Toyota Tacoma pulled in at about 25 feet from the wall here to show you guys the stock beam pattern compared to the Morimoto XB LED headlights. Now at 25 feet we measured 200 lux. Lux is the best possible way for us to measure exactly how bright the factory headlights are, and at 200 lux that's not really a very bright headlight. It's probably why you're here watching this video. Let's check out the XB LED low beams. The Morimoto XB LED low beam comes in at 1000 maximum lux, which compared to that 200 lux we had from the factory beam pattern, that's a big improvement over stock. If this was my Tacoma, I'd be very happy with this upgrade. We got a nice white light output here, very clean cutoff line, and a lot of width from left to right. So if you're looking for something that's gonna really light up the road at night, this is a good option for you. Now let's check out high beam. The stock Tacoma high beam came in at 780 maximum lux. It's not terrible and it's in a good spot on the road. I'm hoping to see an improvement with the XB LED headlights. The XB LED high beam came in at 1180 maximum lux. Compared to 780, that's a good jump, that's a good improvement, and it's exactly where we want it on the wall, and more importantly, it's gonna be where we want it on the road as well. It's easy to see why the Morimoto XB LED headlights are one of my favorite things to install on this channel. This truck pulled in here today looking completely stock, looking like every other Tacoma on the road, and now with those blacked out housings, that super bright DRL, and that insane low and high beam, we've got a completely transformed front end. Now, it was a bummer to me that this truck didn't have fog lights from the factory because we've got the XB LED fog lights from Morimoto as well. You've seen those in other videos on our channel. We've also got a lot of different content for the rear of this truck, so if you've got a Tacoma like this one, you want to upgrade it front to rear, click subscribe. We got a lot of videos coming out and you don't want to miss any of them.